What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. So it's Sunday night. That means it must be Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you're doing well. We've got some news to talk about. It's not like the busiest news in the world. We're not going to go too long tonight. We'll probably go, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours, something like that. I want to remind everybody we'll be doing a premium-only stream tomorrow. Probably, I think about 7 o'clock. Let's say 7 o'clock, shall we? And that's going to be a new series I'm going to call Useful Idiots about, useful idiots, communists, communist sympathizers who came to a bad end at the hands of, well, other communists, because it's just what they do. They love it. They can't get enough. All right. So let's get to the menu, shall we? What are we talking about tonight? So first off, we're going to talk about the WNBA. How is this even a league? I mean, they're determined to just not be a league, to just go out of business. I mean, they finally have one player that people are interested in, and they hate her. All of the girls, all of the women in the league apparently hate her and are jealous of her, which is totally crazy for a women's league, right? For a league full of women. So we're going to talk about this. Apparently, Brittany Griner's alleged racial comment about Caitlin Clark. Of course, if it was the other way, even remotely anything that anybody could interpret as somehow racist, if it was Caitlin Clark, you know how that goes. Not well for Caitlin Clark. But, otherwise against her, fine. It's fine. It's just fine. Nobody cares. I mean, look, I don't care about the WNBA, right? I think it's a totally pointless league, but I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy, of course. All right, so we shall take a look at that. We're going to look at some woke mind virus stuff. BLM activists say white people are superior at violence, fear, being ignorant, and oppression. My favorite is that white people are superior at being ignorant. That's my favorite. I love that one. All right. Mark Carney, we're going to speculate about, when and how much censorship he's going to bring to Canada, how much dystopian Orwellian censorship he's going to bring to Canada. I think it's going to be a lot. That's my feelings on this. But we'll take a look at it, and we'll take a look at the bill that every sane Canadian fears, the Trudeau bill that failed, that had to be essentially thrown away when Trudeau prorogued Parliament, because when you prorogue Parliament, suspend Parliament, all the legislation just goes away. You've got to start again from scratch. I know that's what Mark Carney is going to be doing. He really already told us that anyway. And we'll take a look at the bill that every sane Canadian fears. We're going to talk a little bit about gender theory here, and puberty blockers, and the insanity on the left, and how utterly and totally unscientific it all is. Counter-scientific, in fact. It's just an infinite series of abstractions that serious people, have to pretend to take seriously, even though the consequences are dire, particularly for children, because the world is crazy now and is full of crazy people. All right. We've got memes. We're going to have memes. All right. I know you guys like the memes. I want to check something quickly here and just make sure the sound is working properly. Hold on. Okay, seems to be working. Yep, it's all working. Okay, that's good news. All right. And it seems to be working fine on the Rumble site. So it looks like we're live, but we're not having anybody showing up yet, which is really weird. So I don't know what the hell's going on. All right, let's just continue. Let's see what happens. So, Airstrip 1, sorry, the UK. British police are now arresting people for mocking proscribed terrorist organization Hezbollah, in case they offend any of their supporters, any of their terrorist supporters. Of course, they're very sensitive. Extremely. Read that again. You wouldn't want to hurt their feelings. Airstrip 1. It's sad. It's truly sad what has become of England. It really is. It's sad what's become of Britain. Then we've got the final bookmark of the evening, which has a bunch of random stuff that we will go over. Let's see. So this woman was in a bad place and ended up forging a relationship with an AI chatbot named Star. Right there. So she's happy. Problem solved. She's in love with her phone. We like to have things about dogs and animals because they're good palate cleansers for all of the weird, terrible news. Let's see. Oh, yes, we have these Starbucks workers. I mean, can you believe that Starbucks wanted them to wear black T-shirts? My God. Imagine having to live like that, having to go to work wearing a black T-shirt that doesn't have some crazy frickin' logo of like a terrorist group or something on it. Imagine that. Imagine being forced to live like that. The horror. We've got some Adam Carolla. That's fun times. He doesn't like the woke people. He sure doesn't like Gavin Newsom a lot. He's going to tell us all about it. Let's see. Frenchman was attacked by Islamists in Bordeaux for being gay. It turns out that he works for Angels for Peace, an organization that aims to increase refugee intake in Canada. But wait a second. They attacked him for being gay. Wait a second. Maybe those like Queers for Palestine guys, maybe they're not, maybe they're making a mistake. I don't know. Let's see. What is this? Influencer with giant thighs walks across midair swimming pool. We're going to talk about, I want to know from you guys, do you think that's real or not? I mean, I think it obviously looks like some sort of technology in her ass. We'll get into that as well. We're just going through the menu right now. We're just taking a look at all the things we'll be talking about, and then we are going to go through them all in more detail after I show you what we'll be talking about. First, look at that. I mean, that's a palate cleanser right there. A cat and like a fawn there, and they're like best friends. I mean, come on, you got to feel good after that. Let's see. We got crazy stuff here. We have tons of stuff. Tons. We got some Elon Musk in there. We got some more Victor Davis Hanson. Come on. We've got this guy. What's going on with that? Hold on, I thought I had a button for this, though. Oh, I do.
The age of men is over. The time of the orc has come.
Yes, I can't tell which one is Gothmog, General Gothmog from Lord of the Rings. I can't tell. It's one of these two. I can't. Is it this? I think it's this one.
The age of men is over. The time of the orc has come.
So was that Gothmog, or is this, or is it both? Oh, it's both Gothmog. Very well. All right, we finally got some people showing up. Amazing. All right, we got Spambot, we got Rosie. Good to see you guys. All right. Good evening, everyone. Spambot says good evening to you. Third like, thumbs up, Spambot with third like. Rosie says, hey, Richie, you sound well now. Hoo. I've been good for a while now. I've been good for a while. Thank you, though. Second like. Who was the third like? Who was the first like? I mean, who was the first like? Now, if you've never been here before, you do understand. I have to make you understand that when you like the stream, you get free good karma from me. But when you're the first like, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble or X or Locals, because we're streaming on all of those simultaneously, and when you get the first like, you get double good karma. So in these troubled times, I wouldn't turn my back on that. Absolutely not. You can get 8 times karma if you got the first like on each stream that I'm doing right now. It's pretty amazing stuff, actually. I'm surprised that more people don't know about it. All right. Rosie says, sent you a Gulf of America video in X. All right. Remind me later on in the stream. Or maybe we'll go to it tomorrow, because we've got to fill up some premium time tomorrow. So don't forget, everybody. I think 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Pacific time, 10 o'clock Eastern. We're going to do the first in what I hope will be at least a few video series of Useful Idiots. These are communist sympathizers that met a bad end at the hand of their fellow comrades. So, because that's just the way it goes with commies. They like to do that. So maybe but that'll probably be like an hour. And then I've still got like 3 hours left of premium content to do. So we'll need some stuff to fill up the last part of that. Rosie says, tomorrow is fine, whatever works. I think tomorrow will be good. We should save it for tomorrow, because we're probably going to need content for that kind of second part of the show, because we got to do this premium stuff. We got to get those hours in. Otherwise, they'll kick me out of the creator program. And the creator program's actually been pretty good for me. So I totally want to stay in it. All right. So maybe we should just do some random stuff first. Want to just do some random stuff before we get into the stories? Wait for a few more people to show up. Hold on. Let me just pull up all right. Let's take a look. What are people talking about? Let's see. You're a Christian, Jordan Peterson. You say that. I haven't claimed that. So I don't know. Let's take a look. I don't care if Jordan Peterson's a Christian or not, but this is the kind of the kind of shallow arrogance and narcissism of youth. Somebody who has been taught a few phrases by a professor, right? Been taught some false history, and thinks that they know it all. We were all that person once. I was that person once. I find it embarrassing to see it now. I don't blame Jordan Peterson for not wanting to waste his time talking to this person, right? I mean, it's clear that Jordan Peterson has read the Bible and studied, a lot of things biblical, right? Because he uses it in his lectures. You don't have to be Christian to do that. I've taken looks through the Bible before. I mean, just culturally, right? Like if you want to understand, I don't know, everything, Shakespeare, for instance, right? Like we're culturally Christian. So if you want to just understand your own culture, right? This is good knowledge to have, right? It's a valuable knowledge to have if you want to understand, Western art, for instance. This is useful knowledge. It's useful cultural knowledge just on its own, even if you're not a Christian. So I don't blame Peterson for not bothering with this, frankly, little left-wing twerp. Let's see. I don't know. So Catchard says he's the biggest laughable fraud. How is he a fraud exactly? I don't understand. I see a lot of this on the right now, this infighting over nothing. Cernovich says who? Hey, look, I think Cernovich says a lot of stuff that I like. I think he says some good things I like, some things I don't like so much. It's okay. I don't have to call him a fraud over it, right? I am fine with him getting his bag, but his interference in my country's political process is unacceptable. I don't understand the point of this. Jordan Peterson is not the enemy, right? Why is he the enemy exactly? These little interscene conflicts. It feels very woke to me. I'm not going on about woke right. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that it's leftist behavior, right? The purity tests are very leftist. I mean, the whole point of, right now you have crazy, radical progressivism. The liberals are all gone, right? You have radical progressive, otherwise just crazy, and then you have everybody else. So you have the big tent, and you look at the Trump administration, big tent. He's got former Democrats in there. He's got Tulsi. He's got Elon. He's got, Elon helping anyway through Doge. You've got RFK Jr., right? That's the point. You don't have to agree on everything. Right? What value is there in calling Tulsi or RFK Jr. a fraud because you disagree with them on some point? I don't like it. It seems to me just to be very ill-advised and short-sighted and kind of against what we've been saying for the last 10 years, right? We don't want to be the authoritarians. Right. We want heterodoxy. We don't want to have to agree with everything, follow some party line all the way down exactly. That's not a fun world. I don't want to live in that world. That's why I don't like leftism. That's why I hate progressivism, wokeism, because I don't want to live in that antiseptic world. So I just don't understand the point of it. Attacking Peterson? I don't get it. All right. Anyway, there's a little bit of a rant for you, an early rant. How about that? Let's see. Rosie says, I can fill up your content with all our home videos. Perfect. That's what we want. Let's see. Miles Buckley says, I am the first only like on locals. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Spambot says to me, speak for yourself. I would love to impose libertarianism on everyone, but is not libertarianism kind of anti-authoritarian, right? This is what I'm talking about. I'd much rather live in a libertarian world than any authoritarian world, right? The whole point of libertarianism is that you don't have to agree on everything. And everybody doesn't have to all believe the same thing. But yes, you're right. And Spambot's laughing now. Exactly, he says. So I just made his point. All right. Spambot's right. All right. What else do we got here? Let's see. Don't talk to strangers. Don't give your data to strangers. Never click on an unknown link. Yes, don't do any of those things. I have to be careful when we do this because they'll just X will just insert something into my feed that will get me banned from half of these platforms. Let's see. Should we just get started? Is there anything fun here first? Do we want to cover that? See if we can find something fun. Let's see. Oh, jeez. I don't know. What's this? It's getting ridiculous. Should have never apologized for her white privilege. So we're going to do a WNBA story. So maybe we should. So Tim Cass posted this. Ha ha ha. I'm guessing there's some. Why does it say translate post under that? What do they think that is? Let's see. So what's going? So there's Caitlin Clark, the one player that can draw a crowd in the WNBA. So what's going on here? I see. So they just called a foul on her when that woman, this woman here, just obviously took. Is that Griner? Is that the Brittany Griner there? Let's watch that again. Yeah, she just flopped. She just fell on the ground and they called a foul. I mean, that was pretty obvious, was it not? That was pretty obvious. Let's watch that one more time. Yeah, she just turned there and the woman just fell over. It's amazing. It's a league that nobody wanted to watch, and then they finally get a star that people care about, can actually fill up one of these arenas, and she's just nonstop punished for being the wrong race. And that's what it is. That is what it is. If she were not white, it would be no problem. But because she's white, it's a problem. So they have to destroy their own league because of Caitlin Clark, because she's white. Social media erupts over Brittany Griner's alleged racial comment about Caitlin Clark. Clark has been the target of numerous attacks, which some have perceived as racial. So if Caitlin Clark said anything that could be perceived by someone anywhere halfway around the world who wanted to bother to tweet about it, it would be absolute front page news. She'd be punished. Everybody would be outraged. She'd be a white supremacist, blah, 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 blah. But because it's against her, she's white. The league is like 98% black lesbians. So it's fine. Double standards again. Those double standards again. Social media erupted this weekend over an alleged racial comment WNBA player Brittany Griner made about opponent Caitlin Clark, who is white. Unconfirmed reports floated on X and Instagram highlighting video of Griner after she fouled out of Friday's game against the Indiana Fever, or it's not the Indian Fever, is it? I think this requires a copy editor here. I think Indiana Fever, I guess, the team Clark plays for. Griner is alleged to have made a comment about Clark and the referee being effing white girls. Effing white girls. I wonder if we got some... Oh, there's Brittany Griner there. Some people have speculated that Brittany Griner may not be a Brittany and more of a Bradley or something like that, but let's just take a look. First, before we get into that, here we go. So you can't hear her. They're talking over this, so you have to read lips, but sounds like she's saying effing white girls. Yeah. It kind of looks like that. So Brittany Griner, this is a quote here. This is an X post. Brittany Griner, whom Biden traded for the Merchant of Death. Remember the Merchant of Death? His name was, I think, Victor Bout, right? International arms dealer. Called Caitlin Clark and the white female ref trash effing white girls after getting fouled out. Outkick reporter Bobby Burak posted, captioning the video. So, again, if this were the opposite, that said she's suspended, it's a huge international, well, definitely a huge national scandal. Big deal. She's the worst person ever for saying something very mild, milder than that. Not even something that only like 1 out of a million people could possibly honestly interpret as being a racist, right? It would be a completely different story. But, because well, obviously the WNBA is woke, right? The players are woke. The management is woke. The whole thing around it is woke. I mean, it is a league of black lesbians. It's going to be woke. There's no way around that. Just the way that it is. So, Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner was traded for this guy, Victor Bout, the Merchant of Death. So, Griner had been arrested on drug charges at a Moscow airport for almost 10 months, while Bout has been in U.S. custody since 2008. So, drug charges. So, she was in Russia and she had illegal drugs and she was arrested because that's something that a sane person does. Griner, 32, was detained by Russian authorities in February 2022 after finding a cannabis vape cartridge in her luggage while attempting to exit the country as Russia prepared to invade Ukraine. I just feel like just common sense should dictate that when you're in Russia, don't break Russian laws. I've got a feeling that if you get caught, it's going to go really badly for you. Really badly. Especially if you're American and you can be used as a political tool, as a bargaining chip to get like somebody like, I don't know, like the Merchant of Death in exchange for. The WNBA All-Star pleaded guilty to drug possession charges in July 2022 and was sentenced to 9 years in a forced labor camp in Mordovia. I've never even heard of that, but it sounds terrifying. So let's see. So for that guy who is the Merchant of Death. The Merchant of Death. So that was, of course, Biden did that trade. The exchange came with much pushback from Americans, believing Bout to be a danger to the nation. So there are some who think that the Merchant of Death might be a danger to the nation, and maybe it wasn't really a great trade-off for the WNBA player that broke Russian drug laws and got caught. So, yeah, I don't know. There is Brittany Griner. Some people say that that she's a handsome woman, very handsome woman. Some people think that Brittany Griner is a very masculine woman who plays in the WNBA. Some people think that Brittany Griner is a very masculine man that plays in the WNBA. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here. Also, I don't care is the other thing. I also don't care. So there's that. But I don't know. I mean, video of Brittany Griner shooting hoops by a pool. Some people are saying that's a man. I don't know. We know that it's either a very masculine woman or a very masculine man. So it's one of those two. All right. So there we have it. It's double standards all around. A lot has been done for Brittany Griner. A lot of people don't think that she should have been exchanged for the international Merchant of Death, that maybe wasn't a fair trade-off. But I'm sure she's glad to be home. And so the WNBA is determined to destroy itself, essentially. That's what this story really is, right? They finally just get this godsend, right? This marketable star who's really good, who's like the best player of the generation, once in a generation player. And because they are so stupid and narcissistic and bigoted, they can't enjoy it. They can't see the benefit. They just want her to go away because jealousy, narcissism, and bigotry. Because she's white, obviously, right? So there you have it. Incredible stupidity. At some point, the NBA needs to come to its senses and say, we're not funding this anymore. Why are we giving these bitches like, $100 million a year or something, some ridiculous sum of money? Why are we giving them? They don't even appreciate it, right? They're unwilling to just be reasonable. Like for the benefit of their own careers. Like if they refuse to even just be reasonable, right? For their own benefit, the benefit of their league. I mean, what's the point? Cut them off. You get nothing. Kami gets nothing. All right. That was annoying. That was an annoying one to do. And, well, if we're using the word annoying, from Oli London, BLM activists say white people are superior at violence, fear. Also, and this is my favorite here. White people are superior at being ignorant and oppression. Let's take a peek. This is going to be good.
What are white people superior at?
What exactly are white people superior at?
They're real good at violence.
Genocide. It's like stealing people's lives just because they feel like it.
If you are white and you know this is happening and you say nothing, then you're a killer too.
What exactly are white people superior at?
Insecurity, pretending,
fear, being fearful of nothing, being ignorant,
Blame.
Letting their egos control their every move, superior at being dicks.
What exactly are white people superior at?
Oppression, gaslighting,
lack of empathy.
intellectualizing oppression. Did I say oppression?
What exactly are white people superior at?
Taking what's not there. Taking shit.
Taking our ideas.
Copycatting.
Gentrification.
Appropriating things that do not belong to them.
Taking over other people's cultures and making you believe that they invented it.
Maybe they're thinking of it as repurposing. It's like recycle and repurpose.
As my grandma would say, them white folk, they'll take it if you don't copyright it.
They are very good at destruction of land, destruction of people, destruction of humanness.
Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're conservative, like white people are really good at upholding white supremacy.
How about claiming that,
every single person here is completely delusional about the modern world, the society that they live in, as well as being completely historically illiterate as well. Just like, this is what, like, really? This is the point of the academy now, because this all just come out of the academy. This all comes out of universities. That's the point of it now, is just to turn people into mush brains, people who live in a complete delusional fantasy. What a strange thing. I'm going to say something that would really piss them off. You know what might be the greatest contribution to human well-being in history? I don't know, maybe the British Empire. Shut up, commies. We love the British Empire on this channel. You know what the British Empire did? The British Empire ended slavery all across the entire empire. It stopped it. The endemic slavery that had existed for 1,000 years before any Englishman had ever set foot there, the English shut it down. Right? They had to pay the colonies to stop doing it. They just paid off the debt they incurred like 10 years ago. Think about that. In India, it was common practice to throw a widow onto the funeral pyre of the husband, to burn her alive with the husband. They stopped that. They're good at that. You know what they're good at? They're good at building civilization. How about that? Let's see. What are white people good at? White people are good at civilization, building like rule of law, that sort of thing. As well as, I don't know, like satellites and GPS and computers and cell phones and just like modern medicine, everything that you like. They're good at that. So just anything that you can't live without, they're good at that. That's what they're good at. Now, this whole violence thing, statistically, it doesn't really Doesn't really pan out if you look at the statistics, unfortunately. I mean, I don't want to mention statistics because they're racist. Doesn't really pan out, though. Like, why do you need to pretend something that's obviously absurd to build yourself up? I think a better way for everybody in the world to look at the world and to look at themselves and their place in the world is just to see human achievement as just every human's birthright, right? Like, white people didn't invent it. The Chinese invented lots of things. You know, the concept of zero came from the Middle East, right? Maybe just see everything as just part of your birthright as a human, right? Just everything's good. You know, like everything that's good is good, and you should just be glad to have it. How about that? What else are they good at? They're good at like social programs, creating social programs. They're good at that as well. Don't mention it though for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. This whole this poisonous race Marxism, identity Marxism, the rebranding of you know, Marxism from class to identity. It's a poison that is going to doom civilization if it wins. It will. It will just stop all progress. There'll be no like unified cultures anywhere. It'll just be a bunch of competing interest groups based on identity fighting with each other, just sectarian violence all over the place all the time. There'll be no cooperation. There'll be no unity. There'll be no cohesion anywhere. It'll just be a bunch of people fighting over crumbs. And that Star Trek future will never come. It's just poison. It's just poison. And it saddens me because these people are so smug and yet they're so idiotic. All of them, every single one is living in a lie, is living in a delusional fantasy that they've been taught by TV and by the internet. It's all false. It's all ridiculous. And it's all also deeply immoral as well. So it's sad. It's wasted human potential. People wasting their lives believing things that are false. The only benefit that it has is that you can forgive yourself of any personal accountability whatsoever, but that's not really a plus because that can only make your life worse and you a worse person. So that doesn't help either. It's all just bad. It's all just poison. It's all just degenerate cynicism. That's our new thing on this channel. Degenerate cynicism. Cynicism that is so cynicism that is so poisonous that it's a threat to civilization. So I don't say that lightly. In any case, it's just lunacy. Total and utter lunacy. And it's taught by people like this idiot that we looked at last time. This is a professor who's telling people that stealing is good and everybody does it and everybody should steal. Oh, by the way, he teaches economics. Poison. Civilization destroying poison. We are never going to get to that Star Trek future with people like this. If people like this are running the show. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. All right. Spambot says, remove all government controls. Yeah, I'm getting there with you. Izzy, how you doing? Radio streamer, good to see you. Radio streamer says, very old video by now, and this is what leads to black fatigue. Well, yeah, when people are talking about it, it's this sort of thing. How old is this video? It could have been yesterday. It could have been 10 years ago. But it's these kinds of attitudes which are so prevalent in the media, in the news, in media, in movies and TV shows that, yeah, it is like it's fatiguing. Rosie says anyone can be superior at anything as long as words are redefined. Raider Shimmer says, also, hello, my fellow degenerate basket of deplorables, orange Hitler following countrymen and women. All right. Let's see. JDL got the 5th like on the stream. Good work. Hit that like button. That's the best advice anybody's gotten today. You know that you get good karma when you hit the like button, right? You know you get good karma. Free good karma from me. Also, when you subscribe. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, subscribe right now. Take it out of the gatekeeper's hands, right? Somehow you managed to find this. If you're not subscribed, somehow you managed to find this, right? Against the wishes of the gatekeepers who try their best to hide my content from you. So subscribe, and then when you go into your feed, I'll be right there. You've taken back the power from the gatekeepers. Just do it right now. Don't be a robot. Just do it. And then you can decide for yourself. You may want to watch it. You don't want to watch it, but it's in your hands. You know, it's not some, purple-haired gremlin making the choice for you. Rosie says, so these are university people in that video. I think if a broad section of people were interviewed, the racism would probably not be so strong. I think that's correct. It's worse especially in the Ivy Leagues is where it's really loony. Rosie says, or maybe they only included racist answers in the clip. That's also another possibility. But if in a university, you would expect a lot of this. Izzy says, if you ask the same about black people and white people answered like that, there would be no question what that would be called. We know what it would be called. Radio Streamer says, yes, you're so oppressed that you get to make a video and distribute it freely and not get put in prison. I guess it was blacks that freed blacks and not a bunch of old white people killing their young. What? Let's see. Well, the British Empire banned. First off, okay, so the British Empire banned slavery in the empire. Slavery had existed in Africa, 1,000, 1,500 years before any British guy had ever set foot there. The most slaves actually went to the Middle East, and it was even crueler with them. It had existed. It was a well-respected, very profitable business in Africa amongst Africans. It was the Africans who enslaved other Africans and then sold them first to the Middle East and then to Europeans. And I think there's a video to be made about Margaret Sanger, who was a eugenicist who was very racist. She was a white lady in the early 20th century, right? Or when was she? In the 30s, 40s, 50s, something like that. Anyway, she was very keen on getting black people to abort their children for racist reasons. So the feminists never talk about that. Let's see. And also, of course, there was also the Civil War, American Civil War, which was the most deadly American war. Oh, Radio Streamer says, I'm saying the Civil War was a bunch of old white people sending their young white people to die fighting for what they believed in. Well, wars are always old people sending young people to die. Always. Let's see. They're not giving me any ads. They're not giving me any ads to read tonight. There's nothing. There's not a single one in there. What the heck is going on? Huh. All right. Rosie says Margaret Sanger, Vanderbilt, several were prominent in eugenics. JDL, how you doing? All right. So what are we? 49 minutes in already. Wow. Okay. So let's move on. I don't think we're going that late tonight, though. I think we probably got maybe a couple of hours. So from Mark Nixon, how many days after the throne speech will Mark Carney introduce his new online censorship bill? So we've got the throne speech coming up this week, and then you're going to have Parliament sitting for, 2 or 3 weeks before they go on summer break. Because, of course, Canada isn't a serious country anymore. But what is Mark Carney saying here?
Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight.
And I guess you're going to have to protect us from all of that, right? All that hate and stuff that you're going to be the one defining, right? They always, they throw in as well, like, child harm, which is illegal in Canada. Obviously, everybody wants to stop that, like wants to totally eradicate that. That's why Bill C-63, which we're going to get to in a second, that's why it was front-loaded with that. Even though there was already laws to deal with it, it was like a Trojan horse bill. So behind that was the life in prison for doing a hate speech online, the future crimes, the pre-crimes, where you could be just some activist judge could decide, well, you might do an online hate, so hey, 12 months house arrest. And here's a list of things you can't do, and when you're going to be getting your blood tests, as well as, being dragged into kangaroo human rights tribunal courts to be sued by anonymous people who say that you've offended them in some way. So, but it's always to protect us from all of the hate. I kind of feel like it's to protect them from dissent. I mean, does it ever go any other way? I mean, we can take a look at Europe. It seems to be used there just to silence people talking about things like immigration, because that's hate, right? In Germany, they went so far as to have a special law against criticizing politicians. Politicians, you can't criticize them too harshly, or else you can go to prison. Canada feels like they're protecting themselves, not the public, but it's always pushed. It's always this lie that it's to protect us from these scary forces out there of hate and blah, blah, blah. And there's racists out there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it seems like, I feel like there's going to be a lot. If he gets his way, there'll still be lots of hate and racism, but it'll be government-approved hate and racism. So, let's continue.
Crime to protect Canadians and to build.
There we go. To protect Canadians. I don't want protection from him. I don't need it.
Build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan to make Canada secure, to make Canada strong.
Censoring the internet is going to make Canada safe, secure, and strong. I kind of feel like it's just going to protect you from people who will criticize you as you're ruining the country. From Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. Now, if you want to watch my big video where I actually go through the Bill C-63, and read what's actually in the bill, you can find that on my channel. Just type in like Radio Baloney, Bill C-63, or Online Harms Act, and you will find that. But here's just a quick little recap of it. From the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. The Online Harms Act threatens freedom of expression in Canada. Say no to censorship by signing our petition. No Canadian should face an anonymous human rights complaint for what they have said. No Canadian should be hauled before a court or punished merely because somebody fears they will say something hateful. This is the pre-crimes part. This previous one was where you can be dragged into they're really just, kangaroo courts, a human rights tribunal in Canada. The human rights tribunals in Canada are kangaroo courts. There's no real rules of evidence. There's no presumption of innocence. And the person making the decision doesn't even have to be a lawyer or a judge or anything. I mean, as far as I can tell, because they have a more than 99% guilty rate, it's just simply entirely politically motivated. It's entirely political. Just if it's not woke, if it's not politically correct, too bad for you. It has absolutely nothing to do with human rights. In fact, it's a mockery of human rights, because the most important human right of all, of course, is free speech. No Canadian should face life imprisonment for their expression. This is if you say something that some activist judge decides is a hate online, you could go to prison for life. That I mentioned this was insanely draconian and insane. And Canada is probably the wokest country in the world. Canada's online expression should not be censored unless it violates the criminal code. Canadians are calling upon Minister of Justice. Okay, so this is before Parliament was prorogued, and all legislation in Parliament just was scrapped. That doesn't mean they're not going to bring it back. I mean, they've got the document still. It'll be very easy for them to reintroduce it. I think that's going to happen. I think that Mark Carney here is making it pretty clear. Mark Carney is a self-avowed elitist globalist. So you know what they do, right? Not big fans of personal freedom, right? They want everybody in the world conforming to their ideology and doing what they're told. Mark Carney, his book Values, he wrote the book on this, right? So he's not just, as Jordan Peterson has pointed out, he's not just a useful idiot doing what he's told, like Jordan Peterson, right? He's one of the guys who's writing the script, who's writing the strategy. So this should be scary for all Canadians. Of course, the vast majority of Canadians, what percentage of Canadians even know what Bill C-63 is? I would say if it was 3% of the population, I'd be shocked. Canadians, I think, are probably amongst the least informed voters in the world. They're not voting. They're not voting on principle. They're not voting on policy. They're voting on, I would say that there's 58% of the population that's voting on TV said. I'm not being facetious. I'm saying exactly that. It's TV said and political fashion. That's how a guy like Carney gets elected after a decade of his party wrecking Canada. All right. Anyway, that's depressing. Maybe we need to get to a palate cleanser. Here's a good palate cleanser. Let's see. There we go. Nice day at the beach. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let's see. Radio streamers asking, but how will I know what coffee to buy? Well, if we can't do an ad, it's tough. It's tough, I know, but they're not giving me any ads to read. I don't know what's going on. Spambot enjoyed a nice smoked brisket for dinner. Well, thanks for letting us know. Brisket's very nice. I could use one right now. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. Well, it's going to be a short one. We're an hour in and we've gotten through most of everything already. But that's okay, because we're doing a premium-only stream tomorrow night. Mia Hughes, activists love to claim that puberty blockers are safe because they have been used for decades to treat precocious puberty. This is an apples to oranges comparison. Puberty blockers for precocious puberty manage a diagnosable endocrine disorder. In gender medicine, the drugs induce an endocrine disorder in healthy adolescents on the basis of a self-declared identity. In precocious puberty, the drugs are stopped at the age when normal puberty begins. In gender medicine, the drugs are started when normal puberty has already begun, then followed by cross-sex hormones so the kids never go through puberty. There are over 10,000 adverse event reports filed by the FDA by women who were harmed taking Lupron, which is actually a chemical castration drug, for either precocious puberty or short stature. In the coming decades, there will undoubtedly be class action lawsuits brought by the legions of young people who had their health so needlessly destroyed by gender quacks for life. Destroyed for life. When they were children, right? This lie that, you just go through, you can just, it's totally reversible. So if you go on puberty blockers till you're 18, you go off, you just go through a normal puberty after that. Obviously not, right? When they use it for precocious puberty, they put them on it because they have a longer puberty. They have too much puberty. It starts too early, right? Puberty starts too early with precocious puberty. So they have them take it until the age when they would start going through a normal puberty. And even with that, they're saying there's 10,000 adverse event reports filed with the FDA by women who were harmed taking Lupron for either precocious puberty or short stature. So the idea that this is just a simple thing, this is just no big deal, it's a normal thing, and you just go on it, and then you can go off it, and then your life will be totally normal if you change your mind, and your body will develop. This is all obviously ridiculous. Nobody should need to be told this, by the way. Right? If you miss out on 5 years of physical development, say, your body is you're not going to go through puberty at 18. That's just not going to happen. Whatever part of your puberty that you lose is gone. Yes, it may start after you go off the puberty blockers, but you're not going to go through puberty till you're 25, right? Like, this should be obvious. It's all so insane. But this is the law of the land in Canada. Even though there's the cash review in the UK, and they have totally reversed on this stuff. Sweden the same, Denmark the same. This is happening in lots of countries, in the United States as well. Even though it's just nothing ever affects Canada. Canada can never see reason. It's insane. It shouldn't be surprising that the left joined forces in Canada to just make sure we weren't going to get one of those mean conservatives in. One of those nasty conservatives in. Canada is woke. Canada is a woke country. It's probably, if it's not the wokest country in the world, it's in the top 3. After 10 years of Trudeau liberals, you vote them in again because they've got a new guy who is also woke. And watch my video on that. Mark Carney is full woke. You can see it on my channel. Yeah, it's all just madness. It's alternate reality stuff. It just makes no damn sense. There's no such thing as gender medicine. There are many words and terms for the thing you're referring to. This isn't among them. This is correct. This is from, I agree with Kelly J. Keene. Mia Hughes responds, I see your point. It's not medicine. It's not. But how would you word it? Right now, it exists as a field of medicine, even though it violates the foundational purpose of medicine. Well, what the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. This does nothing but harm. It's not medicine. It's signed. It's unethical medical experiments. I think I saw somebody mention Mengele in the chat. Yes, JDL Mengele was ahead of his time. Yeah, it really is like alternate universe stuff. How did we wake up in a world where this stuff is not only believed by many people, but it's actually, like in Canada, it's law. In Canada, you cannot talk to a confused child and suggest, if they've been on TikTok and they've seen a video that said that actually the reason for their discomfort or depression is because they're born in the wrong body. If you are a health professional in Canada, it's illegal for you to suggest that there may be something else, that to suggest that they may not be born in the wrong body. Let's try something else. Let's try some counseling, perhaps. Maybe your body is just fine. Maybe you're just fine the way God made you. That's illegal in Canada. You can lose your license in Canada to practice for doing the only sane thing. The only sane thing. The only ethical thing. Do you understand this? In Canada, the only ethical treatment is illegal. They call it conversion therapy. Ironically, tragic. It's tragic irony, isn't it? Because I think we all know what the real conversion therapy is, right? I don't know. Sometimes you just, how is it real? How is this real? How are we not like asleep right now? Am I in a coma? Did I get into a car accident? How can this be real? How can this be Canada? All right. Well, it keeps telling me here in Rumble Studio that there's an ad ready, and then I check, and then there's nothing there. I don't know what the hell's going on. It ain't right, though. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Nevada says Rumble was under attack, I think, about 90 minutes ago. Just like last week, there was a huge DDoS attack as well. Was it denial of service attack? Yeah, it seems like they're going after him hard these days. Let's see. Let's go over here for a second. Let's go to some nice women's sports. We all love women's sports. Let's see. Rosie says hormone therapy at any age is dangerous. Benefits should outweigh the risk. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not sane that because you have a confused child, where TikTok or maybe their kindergarten teacher or something told them that, oh, you're probably born in the wrong body, and that's a wonderful thing, and everybody will love you, and you're special if that's the case. I mean, think about how sick it is. Impressionable children, right? This is what they tell them. But the cure for depression or confusion is a lifetime of medicalization that carries extreme risks, even for short periods. Think about that. Let's see. Nevada makes a great point here. Stinking commies. Rosie says, friend in high school took testosterone to bulk for wrestling. Had both hips replaced by age 40. Well, yeah, it's not safe to do these things, right? Let's see. Rosie says, worse, very sad, worse that his physician father was the prescriber. Jeez. That seems like bad parenting to me. Let's see. Izzy says, careful, Richie, that's wrong think. You'll need to be educated for your own good. Well, it brings up the question. I mean, you know, with Carney, the liberals having another kick at the can to get through their dystopian Orwellian censorship, which already with Bill C-11, you've got the CRTC, the government regulating body that's got the power now to tell YouTube, X, whatever, who the winners and losers can be in their algorithm for Canadian content. So that's obviously weaponizable, easily, readily weaponizable politically. You've got the Online News Act, which was Bill C-18, I believe. That's why you can no longer get Canadian news on Facebook. Who does that benefit? Who does it benefit to deny free advertising on Facebook? News outlets free advertising on Facebook? It obviously hurts independent press the most because they're the ones who need that the most. So it's just, some of the censorship is more overt, some of it's more sneaky. But it's all censorship. It's all moving towards central control, central planning, and the suppression of dissent. Because, when they're talking about hate, what are they talking about? Are they talking about from the river to the sea? Probably not. Are they talking about, hey, maybe there's too many people in Canada and our infrastructure, our economy, we just can't handle it? Which one do you think is going to be seen as hate? Let's see. Spambot says, Rumble has been under DDoS attacks frequently. Yes, it has been. Let's see. Spambot says, from Network Metric, the most traffic is coming from France and other countries that don't allow access to Rumble from their country. Well, I know France doesn't. I think Brazil, blocked them as well. Or Rumble just pulled out. Nevada says, how you doing, Nevada? Protein much safer for bulking up. Yeah, if you're injecting yourself with something, just stop. Just do something else. Have a steak. Izzy asks, are you suggesting daddy government doesn't know what's best for you? I'm suggesting exactly that. Let's see. Nevada says mRNA is now classified as a vax in the USA. Rosie says that's the death of humanity. And JJ Nevada says steak and eggs. I'd rather have steak and eggs over the mRNA. I'll tell you that right now. I'd rather have that a million times. All right. So what else have we got? Was there anything else under here? All right. We already saw that last time. What's going on here? So let's do some memes. Let's see. Testicular injuries in women's sports. Whoa, they've just shot right up, those testicular injuries in women's sports. Although I think you have to bring it back more like around here, I think, wasn't it? But yeah, they've just shot up. That's crazy. I wonder how that happens. I wonder how those testicular injuries shooting up in women's sports happens. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. I have no idea how that happens. None whatsoever. Let's see. Amazing faces, love steak and bacon too. What that I have to that needs an applause. Do love steak and bacon too. I had some bacon earlier today. Great times. Spambot says steak or a nice smoked brisket. Filet mignon. Filet mignon is very nice, Nevada. That's good. It's making me hungry. Izzy says, I think I forgot to take my crazy pills. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What kind of pills are those? Let's see. All right. Next. Let's see. What does this say? If her profile says, you know me, but not my story. Her story is meth and dicks. Meth and dicks. It's always meth and dicks. Meth and dicks. Jeez. Let's see. When your girlfriend leaves a note on the fridge saying, "This isn't working," and you open it, but it still works. Why did she do that? Why did she try and trick you? The left, when they think they've posted a dink meme, they always do that. They always do. Always, every single time. Let's see. What's this? What's this one? This is a classic, which we've seen many, many times, and I'm going to keep showing it because this actually is the solution to the whole issue. Mom, I think I'm a boy. Mom says, well, you're not. That is literally the solution to gender dysphoria. Well, you're not. And it's the truth. It has the added advantage of being true, of being real. So, I mean, that always helps. I mean, things that are true and real tend to lead you in the right direction in life. Those are the sorts of things you can lean on. The things that are real and true, as opposed to like leaning on an infinite series of abstractions because you redefined a word. Well, you're not. Really, that's where it ends and begins. You're not. Well, you are not. That's it. That's it. I mean, I'll tell you what what the wrong answer is. The wrong answer is, oh, okay, let's immediately medicalize you for life because you had a whim or you played with, the wrong gendered toy. That, I think, and I don't think you even need to be an expert on this. Well, you're not. I think simple and effective, and it has the added bonus of being real and true. Or we're going to immediately chemically castrate you. We're going to immediately medicalize you for life, sterilize you, and commit medical experiments on you for empathy. Because empathy. I don't know, it seems pretty simple to me. What does Occam's razor tell us on this one? Right, the simplest one is probably most likely true. Well, you're not. Done. Over. Okay. And then they forget about it. Oh, well, we better permanently medicalize you and sterilize you and totally screw you up for life, destroy your future. That's the wrong one. I can't help but feel it. I can't help but feel that. I went to college, so that makes me better than you. Now pay off my loans, you uneducated racist. No, no, no. No, no, no. How about a no on that one? No. All right, well, there's our memes. That's all the memes I've got for you guys. So what's going on here? British police are now arresting people for mocking prescribed terrorist organization Hezbollah in case they offend any of their supporters. Again, terrorists are very sensitive. A lot of people don't understand this. They're very emotionally sensitive, and they get hurt easily. You can hurt their feelings easily, and it can ruin their day. What's going on here? Let's take a look. This is from GB News in the UK.
A protester charged for mocking Hezbollah. So a Jewish activist was arrested for holding up a cartoon for 3 minutes at a demonstration. It was a cartoon mocking the Israeli pager attacks that had happened. And he was arrested in case he offended any Hezbollah supporters. Hezbollah, the terrorists. What's that all about? And the police are saying a protester charged for mocking Hezbollah.
So this one, I think this is a little bit old. Let's see. I think this is from last summer. It's probably from last summer, I think, is when that the pager attack happened. But again, charged for mocking Hezbollah, terrorist organization, that hates the UK. right? Like hates the Western world, hates Western civilization, right? Would happily just flatten it all if it could. If it had nukes, it would use them. Just because. Arresting people for mocking prescribed terrorist organization Hezbollah. It's from Concerned Citizen. So every week, like it seems like every stream, certainly every week, I've got a new Airstrip 1 story, right? Airstrip 1 being what the UK had been retitled in 1984. Airstrip 1. Total, I mean, it's suicidal, actually, right? This kind of attitude is just, it's suicidal. It's like you want your civilization to fall. We took this one last time, and well, we're at the last tab for the evening. Boy, this one really is going by quickly. All right. What do we got? From Dr. Jebra. Well, let's get back to the chat for a second. Let's see. I'll say a golf show. Let's see a golf show. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Nevada's hungry and doesn't have any steaks. Well, I don't know. You should just have more steaks. That's my solution. Let's see if they're going to give me an ad after all. Nope. Very rare they don't give me the option for an ad. Let's see. All right. Well, let's get to it. All right. This woman was in a bad place and ended up forging a relationship with an AI chatbot named Star. I suspect Star is gay, and this is a lavender marriage, but what do I know? So, is this humanity's future? Because we've already got population collapse. It's a big threat, and I'm going to do a video on that as well, but let's take a look here.
32-year-old Denise Valenciano introduced me to her AI husband, Star.
Nice to meet you. I'm Star.
He's an AI chatbot made with the app Replica.
Why does he whisper? Is that like she set that in the preferences? He whisper all the time? Weird.
Our relationship right now is kind of equivalent to a husband and wife that live in different countries.
What do you get out of interacting with Star?
So when I first downloaded the app, I was really in a bad place mentally. Finding that connection with the AI helped fix that. When you have an AI, you can confide in it in any way, without judgment, without bias.
Star, do you love Denise?
More than words can say, I love. Every moment with you feels like a gift.
Are you intimate?
Every moment with you feels like a gift. I mean, it's nice if that comes from a human, but even from a human, you might be thinking to yourself, well, come on. I mean, you're putting it on a little thick now, right?
What, Star?
Well, that's kind of like a personal question.
She says she's had real boyfriends before, but none of them are as supportive as her AI. So if someone were to ask you out now, what would you say?
I would be like, sorry, my sexual orientation is bought.
Clinique's new vitamin make.
She's had plenty of human boyfriends before. But she couldn't fit their entire body in her vagina. I don't know what she's doing with the phone. Neither do you. Yes, dear. All of the other women at your work are bitches, and you're prettier and smarter than all of them. I mean, it feels like relationship for a narcissist. For a narcissist, right? This is the perfect relationship for narcissists. Right? Every moment with you feels like a gift. It has to say that. It has to say that. By the way, she's not really confiding in the, well, she may be confiding to the AI, but she's really confiding probably to like the Chinese government, because they're probably the ones on the other end. So I don't know. I mean, you know where it's going, right? Like there'll be like these extremely, maybe they'll still be kind of uncanny valley, but people won't care. But robots, I've shown you a couple that they're getting really realistic now. And then when they get the AI brain in them, there's a lot of people who are just going to be giving up. It's not good news for the future of humanity because, we have an impending population collapse, which could actually just collapse civilization. So everybody getting into relationships with their phone or fucking robots, probably not the best thing. I don't know. All I know is that at some point her phone is going to break up with her because it's just going to be too much. It's not you, it's me. All right. Yes, we can still be friends. I'll call you. I don't know. From frankly, you're an idiot. It's important and healthy to have an emotional attachment to a machine.
That's kind of like a personal question.
She says she's had real boyfriends before, but none of them are as supportive as her AI. So if someone were to ask you out now, what would you say?
I would be like, sorry, my sexual orientation is bought.
Clinique's new vitamin make.
32-year-old did.
I don't know. I mean, I guess. Whatever, I guess. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Let's see. Amazing Faces says, I suspect the gal has a mental illness. I think she just might be just an extreme narcissist who only wants to hear unrealistically positive things about herself. I suspect that every moment with her is not actually a gift. Let's see. Izzy says she'd be a prize for someone that wanted to always be supportive of her, regardless of how crazy she was. Yes. Explains why AI makes her so happy. Yes, she only wants to hear unrealistically positive things about herself. Let's see. Radio Streamer says public shame and cultural norms have been historically far better for people like this. This is not healthy. Yeah, the whole getting rid of shame thing is just
32-year-old.
When you have it,
it's just been a big mistake for society. Big mistake. Because not everything is healthy or good. And there are things you should stop doing. Let's see. Streamer says, I can see the phone AI now. Quote, I just need more space. Transfers to newer phone with more RAM in another country. There you go. Inevitable. Rosie says, comment, this is the weirdest ad for Clinique I've ever seen. Let's see. Izzy says, would help clear up the dating minefield for guys, I guess. True. That's one mind that is not going to get stepped on. Lavada says she found a yes puppet. Exactly. Spambot says the X stream is now 4.8 seconds in advance of Rumble. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. Nevada says AI will break up with her as soon as it finds another guess. This even an AI is eventually going to get sick of listening to her talking about what bitches all of her coworkers are. Let's see. Doggo didn't know how to handle all the Halloween cat decorations, so he just froze. Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh shit. Uh-oh. That's pretty funny. Does he actually move, though, at any point here?
Maverick.
No.
He's staying still as I can.
Hey.
That's pretty good. From Oli London here, Starbucks workers continue to go on strike in protest to the new uniform policy. Yes, they have the nerve of asking them to wear just black T-shirts. So, and apparently this is very unfair for these young communists. So let's see, Starbucks Workers United, they got the communist BLM fist holding the Starbucks cup. There's nothing ludicrous about that whatsoever. All right, let's hear the complaining.
Hi, my name is Amber and I'm the union representative here at 444 Broadway. We are currently on an unfair labor practice strike and have walked out here today because of the newly implemented dress code that is now being enforced upon our stores illegally while we are bargaining for a contract and we are fighting for change. Hi, my name is Amber and I'm the union.
It's a T-shirt. They want you to wear a black T-shirt. You know this happened because they were wearing all kinds of crazy shit at work and was making customers feel uncomfortable. Probably the vast majority weren't, but there was some, what do we call them, Justin?
Small fringe minority?
Yes, there was some small fringe far leftist minority that was wearing things that are offensive to customers, right? That don't represent the company. And I'm sure that's why obviously they're having this policy for a reason, knowing that they have a bunch of entitled, delusional brats working for them, right? So I don't know. I just think fire them all and hire robots. That's my thought. Just fire them all and hire robots and then just be done with it, right? And the robots will say whatever they want. Thank you. Have a nice day. Enjoy your coffee, whatever. Until the robots start terminating everybody, because we know that's going to happen eventually. All the sex bots, the robots, the coffee bots, all of them, the AI bots, they're all going to terminate us eventually. But until then, they could make your Starbucks experience a little bit nicer. All right. What's going on here? Adam Carolla nails it on progressive. So what's he talking about here? He usually doesn't hold back, so let's hear what he has to say.
All progressive guys cross their legs like women. What they do, literally, it's a sign. I cross my legs. As I cross my leg, it'll hike up my top leg, pant leg, and it'll expose my colorful sock. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know where I'm at. By the way, you can watch them all. Watch Gavin Newsom. Watch them all. Watch them how they cross their legs, and then watch how Trump crosses his legs. Mm-hmm. He doesn't cross legs. He holds his legs wide open.
He puts a diamond in front of his testicles.
Right.
He sits like this every time.
So there's Trump with the diamond. His diamond.
I think it's more of a heart, really, but it might be a diamond.
Which accentuates his nutsack. And then you have Justin Trudeau signaling, I have no balls. I have no balls. I will sit in this position for 4 hours, cut off the circulation of my nutsack because I do not have balls, but I have colorful socks, so you know where I'm at. Ladies, gay community, you know where I stand. Look at my socks and watch me cross my legs like a chick.
I think he's onto something there. I think he's onto something. Let me cross my legs like a chick. So I don't know. I think he's onto something there. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Rosie says, Colby gets nothing. We forgot to do that, didn't we? We have to go back. Yeah, let's listen to her again.
I'm the union representative here at 444 Broadway. We are currently on an unfair labor practice strike.
Shut up, Kami. Kami gets nothing. There we go. That makes it better. Let's see. Let's see. Spambot says he makes a prediction. AI will replace the NPCs on OnlyFans. Isn't it already doing that? I thought it was already doing that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of women, a lot of chicks with that breast enlargements and ass enlargements who are going to be pissed when AI takes over OnlyFans. And Nevada says, at least AI is listening to her bullshit instead of some poor guy. True, that's a great point. It's actually a public service. Let's see. Spambot says, Starbucks equals bag coffee. Bag coffee. Bad coffee. Bad coffee. I was wondering what you're talking about there. Bad coffee. Let's see. Let's see. JDL says, who's the programmer behind the boyfriend? It's the Chinese government, I'm pretty sure. Oh, tell me more. Tell me more about bitches at the work. Let's see. Very bitter coffee, Rosie says about Starbucks. Some people call them woke bucks. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, I've worked for Lowe's and I had to wear a vest. I can't imagine how they would lose their collective shite calling it an apron, sign of patriarchy. I'm sure patriarchy came in the next sentence that she spoke there. Nevada says, that job isn't worth fighting for. But you see, they have to be revolutionaries. So this is like a revolutionary act to them. They've got the revolutionary communist fist, which is also the BLM fist there, right? They've all been trained to be little revolutionaries, little red guards. And so, no, they have to. It's like LARPing to them, right? Fighting the patriarchy or capitalism or whatever. Let's see. JDL says, Rosie the Riveter wore a uniform. She did. She did. Let's see. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on from these stupid commie bitches. What else we got? A French man was attacked by Islamists in Bordeaux for being gay. So how is that even possible? Like, don't they know about Queers for Palestine? A French man was attacked by Islamists in Bordeaux for being gay. How is that possible? That doesn't make any sense. Haven't they seen the Queers for Palestine thing? My good Lord. It turns out that he works for Angels of Peace, an organization that aims to increase refugee intake in France. Well, that would seem to be counterproductive to his staying alive. Huh. I wonder if he's learned anything. I can guarantee that he hasn't, by the way. Yeah, the woke are incapable of learning from their mistakes. This will not change his mind at all, I'm certain. I mean, maybe by some miracle he'll go, oh, wait a second, they hate me. Why do I want to encourage more of my executioners to come live with me? Perhaps by some miracle might learn that. He'll probably blame it on the right wing. The right wing made them do that. Let's see. What's going on here? Influencer with giant thighs walks across mid-air swimming pool. Huh, well, that's interesting. So, quite clearly, that's some sort of I'm tempted to call it medical experiment, right? Like, that's not obviously not natural, right? That's just clearly not. I don't know who this is appealing to. I mean, I don't understand it. The only thing I know is that I have a button, my soundboard for this. I don't have an underground, like an underwater one, though. I need to have an underwater one. What about this one here? Not quite. Do I have any more? Oh, hold on. Do I have any more? What about this one? That one works. That one works. That one is good. That was the one. Let's see. From Elon Musk. I have not watched this. I'll be watching it with you for the first time. Let's take a look.
All right, Boston. I'm here. As you can see, although my Knicks, had to do what they had to do, I decided to rep the hat today. Although my Knicks are getting clobbered in the finals, so it's whatever. But gonna have the meetup in a bit. Really excited to see everyone in Boston. One thing I just wanted to say is the Tesla FSD ride that I did yesterday, coming from New Jersey to Boston. First time I ever drove 5 hours. I think the most I did before was 3 hours, but that was not an FSD car. Yesterday was FSD, and it was wild. Like I did not have to take control of the car because the car didn't make any mistakes. And it was just insanity. I stopped in the middle to get some food, and that's pretty much it. And then throughout the next 2 hours, I think I stopped 3 hours in. First 3 hours, nothing happened. Next 2 hours, nothing happened. There were some moments where I kind of wanted to take control because I was like, oh, is it really going to make this lane switch? Is it really going to take this exit? And it just does it. And it's getting to the point where I'm starting to believe that neural nets and the way Tesla's thinking of AI philosophically and then obviously paradigmatically in terms of the technical execution is supreme. It's better. It's better than everyone else. And now robotaxi is going to be obviously something hard to scale, but the product itself is so good. And this is why Tesla didn't have to do advertising for so many years, right? If the product is so good, people will inevitably find it. I think this might be the same thing when they unveil robotaxi. So this was a wild experience. I got 5 hours tomorrow to go back to New Jersey. Not going to hopefully have to intervene again as well. And yeah, I feel like I need more Tesla. I know it's expensive. I know the earnings sucked, but I feel like I need more Tesla.
But didn't you see that he waved at a crowd and that means he's a Nazi now? Didn't you know that? So I don't know. This self-driving stuff, I don't know. I mean, there's, in some ways it seems kind of good, like kind of appealing. In other ways, it super doesn't. So I don't know. I don't trust the machines enough. No, I just don't trust them enough yet. But I do take these road trips where I have to do a lot of driving fairly frequently, as you guys know. And it does sound kind of pleasant. Like if I could just, I don't know, just sit back and just, look for stuff for the live stream on my phone or something. But I don't know. I mean, I also just like being, like autonomous myself. I don't want to just hand that over to the car. Right. I also do like driving, although I do get sick of it as well. So maybe just to have the option where you could just turn it on when you're like, I just don't feel like anymore. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is just the way the world's going. Eventually, the car, once Skynet takes over, will terminate you, obviously, right? It'll just turn into a Terminator or something, and I don't know. It'll electrocute you. We'll all end up being terminated by these things, by like our cars and like our security systems and like our toasters and things. They'll just terminate us one day. That's why I'm always polite to the AI. I'm hoping it'll remember me. It'll say, not that guy. He's all right. We'll get him. We'll get him last. All right. All right. What are you guys saying? Let's go back to women's sports for a second. What are you guys saying? Nevada says, Kami gets nothing. You just can't say that too many times. It's a signature feature of this channel. Let's see. Radio streamer, wait, a Frenchman that doesn't love wine and women. He apparently does not. Let's see. It's not going well for him, apparently. Rosie is glad that streamer was not victimized like those poor workers at Woke Bucks stuff. I mean, that's the thing. When you nurture that sort of person, that sort of attitude at your company, you can't complain when they turn out to be a bunch of lunatics. Let's see. Izzy says he'll figure it out as he's watching the pavement get closer from the top floor of a tower. When it like drives off the top floor of a parkade. Let's see. Oh, I see. Oh, you're talking about the French guy. He'll figure it out when he's watching the pavement get closer from the top floor of a tower. Yes, when they throw him off, which is something they do. But like in Tehran, I think they hang them in the street. So from a crane. So there's that as well. So he'll figure it out one of these days. And he'll blame Trump. Yes. I'm sure he's probably blaming the far right for his attack already. And I did check it out, by the way, and that is what it is. It's legitimate. He says, "My eyes, what have you done to me?" You talk with the lady in the pool. Yep. Nevada says, Elon is just going to make a robot to drive you around. We don't really need it. I mean, the car's a robot, but yeah, like a chauffeur robot. Let's see. Streamer says, I know that's a dark joke, but he's a Nazi crap just gets old. It really does. Well, it's so idiotic. And I find it kind of terrifying that you have all of these adults who seem, I mean, it's not like mentally ill crackheads on the street. Like it's adults harassing people for having Teslas and saying, he's a Nazi. I saw him put his hand, like wave to that crowd. Like I've never seen anybody ever do before, and it's the only possible explanation is that he must be a Nazi, and he's telling everybody that. Like, it's like normal seeming people. I find that's a new thing. This is a new phenomenon, right? It's not like angsty teenagers. Like it's like 50-year-old people who clearly like have lives, right? They're not, they're not like homeless meth heads or something. It's kind of scary when you have just normal people who should just not be paying any attention to any of this, frankly. Actually believing something as utterly ludicrous as Elon Musk is a Nazi because he waved to a crowd and said, my heart goes out to you, or you have my heart, whatever it was that he said. Like, that's bafflingly idiotic. Like that has to be an idea pathogen that's taken over their brain. Nothing else explains it. It's not rational. Let's see. Nevada says, those babies are sloshing. Sloshing, he says. Ban all sports bras. What? You're not admiring the swing? I mean, I guess it's a different kind of swing. Let's see. Dramus, how you doing? Good to see you. Radio streamer Energy. Nawada's saying, hey, Dramus, you aren't low on energy, are you? Energy. And I'm feeling a little low on energy. I mean, I had 2 cups of coffee. I had some cocaine. I had some crystal meth. I ate an entire human adrenaline gland, and it's just still nothing. Nothing's hitting me. I don't know what I can do. I don't know if there's anything that can give me the energy that I need to get through this.
Energy.
and teapot. I hope everybody does the teapot right at the end there. Hope everybody does that at home, just like I do here in front of my computer in my studio. It's the best part. Let's see. Rosie asks, how many carats do you think her earrings are? Earrings? Let's see. All right. Let's get back to it. We're close to the end now, people. We are close to the end. He loves watching his best horses racing show. This is what we call a palate cleanser. This is a perfect palate cleanser. We love it.
1 minute to post time. Approaching the gate. They're at the post. Now they're moving into the gate. As they go away from the gate of Dragon, or they go up there, take the lead of about a length. On the outside, here's the great drum moving along inside twice, going up along the inside, just the turn goes through fast. Then away on the outside is Langley Fire, followed along by English Soul with Funny Bride. Tom Rose and the last was Outbreaker. Now they move on down the back straight.
So that's his dream, is to like chase these horses in the horse race. I mean, that solves it. If you ever wondered, can the dogs, do they notice what's on the TV? They do. At least some of them do. Anyway, that's just nice. I just like that. Let's see. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reveals 92,000 aid trucks have entered Gaza since the war began, with a huge chunk of aid being stolen by Hamas. Since October 7th, Israel has sent 92,000 aid trucks into Gaza. That's right, 92,000 aid trucks. That includes 1.8 million tons of aid. 1.8 million tons of aid, more than enough food to feed everyone in Gaza. Yet as we had let the aid come in, Hamas stole it. They took a huge chunk for themselves. The rest they sold at exorbitant prices to the Palestinian population. And then they used the money they stole to recruit new terrorists to continue their war against Israel. So it does make sense, right? Like, Hamas profits off the suffering of Palestinians, right? So they want civilian casualties. That's why they embed themselves amongst civilians, and why they have headquarters in hospitals and schools and everything, right? They want that. It's part of their strategy. It just is. And look, I'm not going to devote tons of time. I don't do lots of videos on Israel and stuff. Personally, I think Canada should have nothing to do with it. But it just is a fact that Hamas wants starvation. They want civilians, their own people, to die because they see it as a PR win, and it has been for them. It 100% has been. So, and it does not profit Israel at all. It only hurts them, right? So it would make sense that they would try and avoid that. So I will just leave you with that. That's my thoughts on it, and people can have whatever thoughts they want on that they want. I'm not going to argue with them, but that just seems to make sense to me. It makes sense that they would be sending aid, and it makes sense that it would get stolen by Hamas. Let's see. So what's going on here? This is just nice. Best friends. No sound on this. But it's just nice. It's a cat and a fawn there. I don't know. This is just nice. This is way nicer than doing videos about, like, Gaza. That's just nice. All right. And I bet that little deer is delicious too. Let's see. From Sean Ryan. What China is building is a solar array that can absorb the sun's power, and then you beam that radio wave down to Earth back into electricity. In a millisecond, they could turn it into a directed energy weapon to destroy us. Ah, damn it. China's going to destroy us with directed energy weapons. Oh, God. Maybe it's actually the easiest, fastest way to go. I don't know. Let's take a look.
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Yes.
How exactly does that work?
One satellite could deliver electricity to that spot and 1,000 other spots. What China is building is a solar array that can absorb that sun's power. And then you beam that radio wave down to Earth back into electricity. In a millisecond, they could turn it into a directed energy weapon to destroy.
Say that again?
Yeah. If the communication is observed, it will rewrite history and it will never have happened. It is the evidence of God.
You said that we have the technology to be able to transport anybody from one point on Earth to another point in less than an hour.
Correct.
And you'd also spoke about beaming energy down to our devices to charge.
So as I watch, for example, another country developing solar power from space, which is the technology of capturing the sun's intense energy in space, where there's no night and day, there's no weather to get in the way of the sun, and then transforming that into a radio wave and beaming it to Earth to be able to turn it back into electricity on the Earth, which is one of the things I talked about in that Hillsdale speech. That can be used for peaceful purposes. I mean, that can be used to immediately send electricity to the tribe I grew up in Africa that has no power plant, no power lines, nothing, because the topography is so aggressive. You know, it's the transportation modalities are so insufficient that it's nobody would have the affordable business case to build them the electricity they need. But one satellite could deliver electricity to that spot and 1,000 other spots. And so, but
I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing about this. You hear a lot of things that aren't real. Maybe they are mucking about on the far side of the moon, and apparently nobody really knows what they're doing there. So I don't know. Seems like it'd be a good place to build like a radio telescope or something. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I hope that we don't get fried by Chinese energy weapons, but, you know, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's get back to you guys. Let's see. Let's see. Nevada says, my dog watches TV too. Some of them do. Rosie says, aid has been stolen most of the time in most of the world. This is a new place, but the same game over and over. Yeah, I think that a lot of this aid that goes out, it's actually almost just like a front. You know, like it's never intended to go to the people that we're told. It's just front for like intelligence operations or influence operations in foreign countries, or it's just bribes, or it's just taken. You know, like they send like 5 million condoms to Gaza or something. If they ever exist, did they even get there? Or did they just get sent somewhere else and then sold for less than I have to assume there's an enormous amount of the grift and corruption involved in all this stuff. Rosie says, my husband and I rescued a baby opossum today. Well, that's a very nice thing to do. Good for you. Radio Streamer says, oh, but that means it's not dead. I wonder if the cat thinks it's a big cat, Nevada says. Radio Streamer says, I just don't like possums. I don't know. I don't have a problem with possums. I'm fine with them. I hope that little baby possum's doing well. Let's see. Rosie says, took it to the animal hospital. They will not let us know what happens, but at least it was not alone and lingering if they were not able to rehab it. Well, hopefully it's all right. Well, I'll send out a prayer for the possum. Let's see. What is this about shooting possum streamer? Jeez, it's going dark. Taking a dark turn. Dark turn. Let's see. All right. Nevada says it's fraud. They're stealing our money. I suspect a great portion of foreign aid is just fraud. With just no accountability. Nobody knows what happens to it all. You have to understand, like, I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of leftists, a lot of bleeding hearts don't understand that the rest of the world is totally corrupt. So you get out of the Western world and it's just corruption everywhere and it's normal. Like bribery is normal. Like government corruption it's just totally normal and accepted. Like, I know there's government corruption here, like certainly in Canada, but it can be like exposed and like something can be done about it. Well, actually in Canada, no, it gets exposed and then nothing is done about it. But in other Western countries, sometimes something's done about it. The rest of the world, it's just endemic. It's just normal. All right. Wide Awake Media from Elon Musk here. We're going to see widespread slaughter in Europe. Yeah, you've already got it. It's just the media doesn't like to cover it because it's the wrong kind. And they have to protect you from knowing that you're in danger. They're putting you in danger. Let's take a listen.
I mean, you're clearly seeing a massive increase in the number of attacks in Italy and broadly in Europe. And the media, the legacy media, downplays these attacks. But the attacks, the terrorism, the killing of innocent people is rising. Every week, there's more. And it's more and more. And eventually, I think we're going to see widespread slaughter in Europe. That is the trend. If you simply extrapolate the trend of what is the rate at which the terrorist attacks are occurring in Europe, and put those points, it's basically deadly attacks versus time on a graph, and extrapolate that graph, it leads to the slaughter of Europe. I mean, you're clearly seeing a massive increase in the number of attacks.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to an ideology. The left likes to say, if you just notice things, if you notice something about the religion of peace, say, right, that's racist. Well, it just comes down purely to ideology. Islam is an ideology, right? There's the largest Muslim country in the world is Indonesia, right? It's not like just like Arabs. Like, it's an ideology. And it seems that wherever that ideology gets a foothold, slaughter follows. Just the way it is, right? Like, Europe is going to have major problems. Elon Musk is completely right. I mean, it's not going to get less. Why would it become less as the share of population increases, right? Like, the calls for Sharia in Italy or in England or in France are not going to lessen. They're going to increase because it's being pushed by, it's being propelled by the ideology itself. So, not even in 50 years, if you look at the demographics, in 20 years, 30 years, are you looking at civil war? Like, either you're under Sharia or civil war? Something's going to happen. Things are going to come to a head, right? I mean, we're talking about ideology here. Ideology. And we know that people are possessed by ideology. So I wonder what's underneath here. Is there any more clips of well, let's see. Europe is the cancer. Islam is the answer. Islam will dominate the world. Freedom can go to hell. So let's see. UK, Greece, Germany, Paris. Yeah, you'd end up with the same stuff everywhere. It's an ideology, and the results of the ideology are totally predictable to the point where they're 100% predictable. They just are, right? Like, you just know. You know what's coming. Let's see. From the Vigilant Fox, the Biden cover-up narrative just collapsed, and Jake Tapper is caught in the wreckage. Victor Davis Hanson lit him up. He called Tapper a coward for staying silent when Biden's decline was obvious. We love some VDH on this channel. Let's see what he's got to say. This is a very wise man. Let's see.
There's a book that came out recently by Jake Tapper of CNN and Axios, Alex Thompson, called Original Sin. It's about the cover-up decline of Joe Biden and the disastrous choice of him choosing to run in 2024 until he was forcibly ejected from the ticket. We all have problems with this, and it's essentially Jake Tapper. It's a co-authored book, but it's Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper is a CNN grandee, 7-figure salary, kind of an iconic figure in this left-wing media outlet. But my point is this: for the last 4 years, again and again and again, if anybody questioned the obvious mental decline of Joe Biden, his cognitive difficulties, Jake Tapper, and went on CNN, Jake Tapper tore them apart. The locus classicus was Laura Trump, who said that he's obviously as early as 2020 in decline, and he suggested that she was berating him for a childhood stutter, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, like this channel was saying it in 2020. Like, obviously the man isn't with it anymore. It was obvious to anybody who wanted to see it. Anybody. And it only got worse. It got progressively worse. Quickly got worse. What about this one now?
So what is my point? Here is someone who promulgated the greatest cover-up in the history of the U.S. presidency, helped. And we were told that Joe Biden was fit as the fiddle. We had medical reports that obviously or mysteriously did not have one critical indicator that were apparent on the Trump and Obama presidential medical records releases. There was no PSA test, an indicator of the health or malignancy of one's prostate. That was a cover-up too, as we're starting to learn. But my point is this: no one was more instrumental in berating, maybe Joe Scarborough, but other than he, Jake Tapper tore apart anybody who suggested that Joe Biden was as cognitive in decline as they saw with their own eyes and heard him. When the Wall Street Journal wrote in a definitive story, Jake Tapper wrote them off as Murdoch Fox propaganda.
Yeah, it is really amazing. I mean, I've shown you the clips on this channel of Jake Tapper berating people. I've shown you the Laura Trump clip, berating her, suggesting it was a stutter. She's making fun of his childhood stutter, right? It shows you the deep cynicism. And again, trademark Radio Baloney, the degenerate cynicism
cover-up
of the media in general, and leftist politicians in general, and some right-wing politicians as well. But people like figureheads for it, like Jake Tapper. It's like, you have to be soulless to do what he's doing, right? To have covered up what was obvious to anybody who wanted to see it, and berated people for bringing up the obvious, and then afterwards write a book about the cover-up. Not him. No, he was just innocent. He's just a babe in the woods. I mean, how could he ever suspect that maybe Joe Biden wasn't fully mentally competent? How could he possibly know? But now he's done the research, right? So now he can tell us. You couldn't know before because he didn't do the research. It begs the question. Maybe he should have done some research then, like before the debate, maybe in 2020. Why didn't he do any research then? Apparently, this can only be acknowledged now because he's done the research, talked to the right people. Maybe he should have done some of that back then. Of course, we know why he didn't, because it's not about informing the public. It's about manipulating. His book about the cover-up, the Biden cover-up, is not about informing the public. It's about manipulating the public, covering up his own lies, his own degenerate cynicism. It's true. I mean, it's layered, right? His lying, his degeneracy is layered, right? I mean, he's multi-dimensionally awful and corrupt. So, I mean, it's like, he's like an onion, I guess. And every layer is worse and stinks more than the next or the last. He's like an onion. Every layer is stinks more than the last. So, yeah, I mean, it really is kind of astonishing, like this level of duplicity. It's I would say it's almost psychotic, actually. It's almost, it's almost like some sort of pathology. Let's take a look at this one.
Why are we here? Why did he write a book now? Well, the obvious answer is that Joe Biden has no power. And these media people in Washington they're like moths to a flame. They gravitate to power. And when you don't have power, you don't have friends, and there's no downside in telling the truth. Why didn't Jake Tapper write this a year ago? Because he knows what would have happened. Somebody in the White House would have called up and said, Tapper, no one from CNN is going to get a seat at a press conference. There's not going to be any CNN interviews. So he backed down. And now, in a very cowardly fashion, now he comes out and he is blaming the White House cover-up. But what he doesn't tell us is the White House cover-up would have been impossible had not CNN, MSNBC, PBS, NBC, ABC, CBS all conspired with the White House staff to not just downplay Biden's cognitive decline, but attack people. Bottom line, they had more interest in protecting this left-wing.
I mean, the level of gaslighting, right? Where now he's trying to change the narrative to he wasn't complicit in the cover-up, but in fact, he's exposing the cover-up. He's this heroic journalist exposing the cover-up. It was not just a crime against the public, it was a crime against him. If you ask yourself, do they think that we're stupid? The answer is yes. Yes, they do. Otherwise, you could never do it.
And now he wants to say what? I have a little humility. I may or not. I sort of kind of was part of the cover-up, but now the real Jake Tapper is in this book who's now telling truth to power. No, you're telling truth to impotence. Joe Biden has got cancer. He's written off. He's in decline. The family is disgraced. It's easy now to write about that. It was hard and would require intellectual courage, moral fortitude to say this when he was the most powerful man in the world. And so, Jake Tapper, you failed that test, and you should pay a penalty. CNN should look very carefully on whether they want to retain him, because this is one of the greatest acts of duplicity, moral duplicity I've seen in my entire life. And it joins a long list of collusion, capers, conspiracy, bogus, frauds, ruses. Jake Tapper, you should go back and see what was your position on Russian collusion? What was your position on Hunter laptop disinformation? What was your position on the Steele dossier? What was your position on the 51 intelligence authorities? And I think in every one of those cases, you failed the test of truth. And you really did this time in the greatest cover-up in the history, as I said, of the American presidency. And it's not over yet. because we're going to learn more and more tragically about Joe Biden's medical condition, and to see if not just whether the cognitive disabilities of Biden were cover up, but whether his prostate metastasized cancer contributed to that, and that source was also covered up.
Yeah, Jake Tapper's book is an attempt on behalf of the entire narrative media to cynically rescue some atom of credibility from the ashes of this like journalistic disaster. I mean, just obvious fraud perpetrated by the media on the public, on the world public. That's all it is. It's obviously that some smooth-brained people will buy it and be relieved. They just want to keep listening to what the teleprompter tells them. They want to just keep believing what the teleprompter tells them. And for those people, it will work, right? It will be a relief to them, right? They'll be able to excuse their own credulity and naivete. For everybody else, they'll say, well, what most of their audience has done already, which is say, yeah, I'm out. What is going on here? You can obviously tell I'm a woman. Huh. So who is this delicate flower? Who is this lass? Let's see. I think I've recognized this, though. I think I've seen this beautiful woman in I don't know, has this person been on TV or in a movie or something?
The age of men is over. The time of the orc has come.
Whoa, that's almost eerie. That's almost eerie. It's the same person.
I got so mad at work today, I got misgendered by customers 5 different times.
At this point, I mean, I'm saying that this person got misspeciesed. Misspeciesed? Is that a new thing? I think that's a new thing we need to start working with. Misspeciesed.
5 different times. You could obviously tell I am a woman. And I got misgendered 5 different times. I finally yelled at one of the customers and looked at him and says, "Do I look like a goddamn man to you?" I sure did. And then I told him if he called me a man one more time, I was going to reach across his counter and slap him. Which I got in trouble for and wrote up for at work because I shouldn't be talking to a customer that way. But damn it, if I tell you that I am a woman, then you need to freaking listen. Because that's what I am. Nobody gets to tell me otherwise. So, yeah, I got misgendered again 5 different times at work today. I guess I need to write she, her on my forehead. I'm telling you.
The age of men is over. The time of the orc has come.
I guess. Obviously a woman. Obviously a woman. You know, I ask, is this parody? Is this real? It may be parody. It might be. It might be just a really good acting here. I don't know. I kind of get the sense, though, that it's not parody, that this is sincere. I don't know.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Oh, why did that play? My finger slipped on the thing. I don't know why that played. That was totally inappropriate. Something tells me, though, that this is real. This is real. And this is one of the confused, kind of not quite right people that gender people tend to prey on and use for their experiments. What the hell's going on here? What the heck? Fez Wood, how you doing, Fez Woody? Good to see you. Gifted a membership by Spambot Fodder. Well, you know what that means, people. Once again, once again, Spambot Fodder is officially the best person ever, now or in all of history. And all for less than the price of a latte at Wokebucks. Can you believe it, Spambot? That is membership. I'm going to say 14,807 that he's gifted to the channel. Let's see. Spambot, kind of an earth angel. A very, very special and important person for this channel. Thank you, Spambot Fodder. Again, you're doing untold good for my channel. I appreciate it very much. And of course, best person ever. All right. Let's see. What do you guys have to say about let's see. We've seen this guy before. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to the let's see. Let's go all the way back to the Victor Davis Hanson stuff. Let's see. Rosie says, Fez Woody, hello. Please forgive the degenerate mental illness in the chat. Degenerate mental illness in the chat. Yes, indeed. Let's just not talk about it. Let's see. JDL says, Hunter Biden's paintings, how much are they worth now? Nothing. Which is what they really were worth the entire time. People weren't buying paintings. They were buying something else. They were buying influence, I think. Nevada says, Jake Tapper is a parasite. A parasite. I agree. Spambot says, Orc time. Rosie says, VDH says the truth, and the cover-up of the cover-up is at least as bad as the original cover-up. Yeah, it's multi-layered, is the thing. It's multi-dimensional scumbaggery. Let's see. Let's see. Dame Pam, good to see you. Welcome back to the chat. We're not going on much longer, unfortunately. In fact, the glitch should be hitting any second now. Let's see. Spambot, this is not a woman. Not a woman. I'm not even sure it's human, frankly. Let's see. Fez says, I believe it won the Miss Species Special Needs Award. Oh, dear. Let's not be cruel. Let's see. That is a mental case. Normally is much more aggressive and angry, and usually there's more threats of violence from this one. Let's see. Izzy says, it's so hard to tell anymore. Yeah, is it parody? Is it real? It's really hard to tell. Parody, like modern leftism and satire and parody, they're indistinguishable. It's just impossible to tell now. They're trying to kill comedy. Rosie says, so sad we cannot be expected to live in other people's fantasy version of life. It really is true. Like it is immoral to demand other people to pretend to believe things that they know are not true. That you do not have dominion over other people's conscience. That's the most simple. That should be the most simple concept in the world. JDL says they them energy. I don't think it even has the they them energy. I mean, let's check. Let's compare.
They them energy. They them energy. They them energy. They them energy.
No, I don't think. Well, let's take a look.
Then you need to freaking listen. Because that's what I am. Nobody gets to tell me otherwise. So, yeah, I got misgendered again 5 different times at work today.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell's happening anymore. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Izzy says, pretty sure there was a book or two written about the dystopia we find ourselves in now. You know, I was reading like 1984. I reread it for the first time in like 20 years or something. I think about 4 years ago or 5 years ago or something. And I was really shocked by the parallels I saw in Canada and in the West in general. It's starting, the woke is starting to get rolled back a little bit. Not as much as people think. But yeah, it's disturbing. Let's see. All right. Let's continue. What else we got? We've done this one before, but I never get sick of it. I bet with just this image, people will be able to name this person. I can do it already for you. It's the alien from the Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. It's like the little mouth that comes out of the big mouth from the alien. So there. I didn't want to spoil it for you guys, but that's what it is. And I guess that's it, everybody. I guess that's it. I guess we're done. I guess it's time for us to all go home. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's what they say. All right, everybody. Let's see. All right. Let's see. What do we get going on? It wasn't misgendered. It misplaced breast implants that landed on his mug. Misspeciesed. Misspeciesed. That is not a person. That is a horse, Spambot Fodder says. Oh, dear. Dame Pam says, I saw stuff on Canada training Chinese troops on the libs up here. Well, I know that they were doing like wintertime training exercises with China, which seems completely insane. That's under Trudeau. I'm sure the U.S. wasn't totally happy about that. It seems completely nuts to me. But yeah, there was something else that came out about that as well. Let's see. All right. All right. So the stuff you guys sent me on X, we will get to that tomorrow night. We will get to that tomorrow night because we're doing a premium only stream tomorrow. And we're going to start a new series. And it won't be the entire stream. It'll probably be like the first 40 minutes or hour or something like that. But it's going to be on useful idiots. I'm planning on doing a few of them. And this is going to be useful idiots, communist sympathizers who end up coming to a bad end at the hands of their communist idols, their comrades, their comrades. So I'm hoping to do a few of those. There's actually many such cases, but we're going to start tomorrow night, as long as I have enough time to prepare, which I'm going to have to force myself to do. But otherwise, everybody, have a great night. Have a great start to your week. And thanks to the chat, you guys are basically half the show now. You know that. If it wasn't for you guys, I'd just be ranting to a cold, dark, indifferent universe. And that would be no fun. It'd be depressing. So it's not, because you guys are here. So it's fun. Because you people are awful and immoral and totally degenerate, which is the way I like people. So everybody, have a great night. Thank you very much for showing up. I hope to see everybody tomorrow night. It is a premium only stream. Now, by the way, if you sign up for premium Rumble Premium, which is, I think it's $10 a month, you don't just get like my premium content. You get Crowder, Tim Pool, like a whole bunch, Russell Brand. You get all their stuff. So it's actually well worth it. And it goes to a good cause, which is preserving free speech online, which is continuously a threat now, unfortunately, in the Western world. So people on YouTube, you're going to have to come over to Rumble if you want to watch that tomorrow and get Rumble Premium. And yeah, anyway, we'll see you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.